Guys, we're gonna have to start being careful in these Megaton streets because Atlus is out here getting fancy on us. Alright, I'm actually in a very good mood because yesterday's news segment, it was like this Megaton V news segment, and it was the coolest thing I'd seen them do, and I was very intrigued by the info drop. So let's just talk about it because it also debunked a lot of our predictions and confirms the existence of two Tokyos. So let's jump right into the news. Alright, so first and foremost, let's talk about where things didn't connect from my predictions video. It does not seem like the female whose name is, let me actually grab that information real quick. Her name was Tao, so it seems like Tao isn't the lady who enters the demon's mouth, and we don't know the name of the demon yet. I think they might have shown some Japanese characters during the scene where he shows up, or it, for instance, but I didn't translate it. But it doesn't seem like Tao is the one that goes into the demon because we actually got some exclusive screenshots from Game Informer. So let me pull one of those up real quick, and maybe this is going to give us a view of who that could potentially be. It just seems like a random student. I remember looking at the last trailer, the PVO2. It showed that other students had this particular uniform. So after I made my video a couple of days ago, that's when I realized that the students have variants of the school uniform. So it's not like one is the female uniform and one is the male. In fact, all of the male characters have a different uniform, while all the female characters have a different uniform as well. So that one got debunked very quickly. Seems like a random student that goes into the demon. So we can actually jump back on that topic because the Game Informer information also told us that Tokyo is pretty much at stake because the demons from Dot can actually enter Tokyo at some point, and their main goal is to enter Tokyo. Though Dot is a separate Tokyo entirely, they are making the move, and that's gonna be bad. So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. Also, we have a better look at this particular character. Let me make sure I get her name right because we thought that she was a man this whole time. That's some interesting stuff. I think that the story is coming along quite nicely now that we know the characters and how they got here. How did they get to the underpass? This other character as well. This is my boy right here too. Let me get his name. Ichiro. So Ichiro Dasai. Seems like a content creator. Seems like he's one of those like reporter people, or he's just doing it for the shits and giggles. Apparently there was rumors going around the school that demons were hanging around out at that underpass, at that tunnel. So he just came around to see what the fuck was up and basically ended up in Dot. Also, the order of events seems like all the trailers that we've seen, obviously the kids were at the underpass, but they didn't meet I was about to say Chiaki. They didn't meet Tao until after they got to the underpass. So I'm curious if they, because she wasn't at the underpass in any of the trailers that we've seen, and the Game Informer information also relayed to us that they met her after they all went. So basically Yuzuru was one of the first characters that even prompted them to walk together home. So he stopped the protagonist, the hero, at school, and he's like, hey, you know, why don't you come walk with us and whatnot. So then that's how the protagonist joins Yuzuru, and then Yuzuru, I think they just grab up my boy, I forgot his name. This was just yesterday that we got the information, so I'm still trying to remember the name. So he grabbed up Ichiro, they were on their way, and I think I know what scene that was too. So from the PVO2, that scene where Ichiro runs up and like grabs the protagonist he grabs Yuzuru from his back, and he's like patting him on the back, and then they go walking off. So that's when they actually start heading towards the tunnel, and they probably grab up the protagonist after that moment, and then they go into the other pass. Shit goes crazy, and I think they meet Tao after that, which would explain why she wasn't there, and also why we didn't see her in the trailers, because she never was in the first sequence of the game, the starting sequence. And now we also know that Tao is an informant pretty much because she already works with the Prime Minister of Japan, who's also the head of, you know, the Bethel Japan Task Force, where they have demons. They have low-aligned demons at Bethel. Sorry for the noise, by the way. They have low-aligned demons at Bethel. I mean, it's an entire low-aligned establishment. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I found that, like, that one caught me off guard because I really wanted her to be evil, and it doesn't seem like she has potential to turn on the cast because she's working directly and heavily influenced by the law route. She's kind of like Jonathan because she's already been there, and her spiritual powers are pretty much the base for why she's important to Bethel. And she probably has a really important role where she sees Kagetsuchi, or she hears the Great Will or something, or the voice could have been. It can turn out to be Lucifer this whole time, because she can hear voices. She probably heard that her god was dead from Lucifer. But now I'm kind of jumping the gun, and I don't want to do that. But they're really setting the stage for Tao becoming a very important character, pretty much integral to foreshadowing everything that's going to happen. Her not being there during the earthquake, because maybe just like Yuko Takao from SMT3 Nocturne, she already knew what was going to happen, and she was already trying to orchestrate things to go in a particular way, because she's most likely going to be aligned with a world ruled by the gods, because her whole, it seems like she's leaning very heavily on Bethel, which translates obviously to God or the law route. So there's a lot of things that's gonna go on, but I have cars. Yes, there are cars in New York City, guys, and they're loud as heck. What was the next piece of information? So we have all the characters' names. So that's Yuzuru, which is the cool glasses, SMT Ida. We have Tao, which is the female heroine. We have, what was his name again? Ichiro. How do I forget my favorite character's name already? He's the cool content creator guy. Wrong place, wrong time. Ends up, at the collapse site. Ends up in Dot. Also, another thing. I enjoyed Riku's video, by the way, so shout out to Katana Riku. He mentioned this, and he was actually pretty surprised to see in one of the scenes you have Yuzuru talking to the hero, who's now Nahobino. So it takes place in that first world in the desert, right after Da'at fuses or becomes the new Tokyo, and they meet up and they begin to talk with one another. And what surprised them was that Yuzuru was talking to the hero. And I think we've established why it's not so surprising, because now that we have the Game Informer information, it states that after the students end up in Da'at, or at least during the scene that Yuzuru was on screen, it says that he gained some powers, and this pretty much in the desert. So the desert is one of the first dungeons in the game. So he got his powers right after he ended up in Da'at, and he was talking to the protagonist because, of course, we all know that all of the students that survived ended up at Bethel, or at least all of the main students ended up at Bethel and became the Bethel Japan Counter Demon Force, with Aogami, whose name was, let me actually grab that for you guys. Aogami. What was his name again, guys? Oh, Hayao Koshimizu. Okay, so they meet up with Koshimizu at Bethel. No, they don't meet up, they pretty much join. So the order of events is Yuzuru is heading out the door of school. The hero's heading out the door to school. Everyone's heading out for the day at school. I think Dasai meets up with the hero, and then no, Dasai actually ends up meeting up with Yuzuru, and then Yuzuru probably asks the hero to join them. They could be new to their third year, so he's probably just like, hey, join us, let's walk home together, because they meet Tao for the first time. It seems like, at least in the wording, it seems like they meet Tao for the first time after the collapse, and then that's also when she explains her spiritual abilities, the dreams that she's been having, the existence of Da'at, her part in the Bethel Japan Task Force. And then they go to the Bethel Japan Task Force, and then they join because now they have the power of the Nahobino. They have Yuzuru, who's now found his demon or his powers, which is that new demon that we saw. It's like a female with half her body chopped off. She seems to be a demon hailing from Philippine mythology, which is actually pretty cool because some people have said this is the first representation of that. I don't know if that's true, but that's actually pretty interesting. So now we know exactly how the fuck everything goes in the prologue. We know for a fact that we'll be experiencing the school life in the first segment. So we're going to be meeting Yuzuru's sister. Her name escapes me right now. and all the other supporting characters. And then we leave school, they meet up, the odd happens, the collapse site happens, they meet. I keep thinking of Chiaki. Every time I think of Tao, I think Chiaki. The resemblance is uncanny, G. They meet her, and then they meet Hao Yao, and then they become the Bethel Task Force, and then the rest of the story plays just like that. So there we go. We know exactly what happens. We don't know still how Aogami came about, and that trailer from a week ago, PVO2, only makes me more curious what the green room scene was, and I'm going to hold my belief that that is the main way that Aogami came into Tokyo. I think that room has a primary purpose of merging the two Tokyos. It could have been what merged the two Tokyos, or it could be what allows them to traverse the two Tokyos. It is confirmed that they can freely at some point go from Da'at to Tokyo, as they have in this one like cool scene. It kind of resembled the scene where all the Phantom Thieves are on top of the building. I don't know if you guys know about that one, but it was P5S, if I remember correctly, or it could have been standard P5, but I've seen it on the internet. I haven't beat P5, so don't blame me. Anywho, yeah, it was a scene just like that, and I actually put them side by side because I thought that was pretty cool. And that was really all the information we got. We know the characters, we know their purpose, we know how they ended up meeting each other all together. How do I think things are going to go moving forward? Well, there has to be an alignment split happening. I still hold on to my core theory that they're going to hit us with a curveball and we're going to get a 180 with Ichiro, because he just seems a little too upbeat, but he's also very conscious of his willpower and what he's fighting for, and it seems like he's losing that resolve a little bit. He's losing the willpower, and he just gives it up to whoever his avatar is, or whoever demon represents him, or whatever has spoken to him, whatever has more control over him, whatever is his opposer. I believe he gave into that and somehow becomes law aligned. And it just seems a little too unlikely that a stern and assertive individual like Yuzuru would be chaos aligned after being a core part of Bethel. They all joined Bethel, so what would make Yuzuru, who's actually calm and collected, be the one to change his route, change what he's fighting for? But I think someone with a timid, more like a more unstable temperament, so to speak, like Ichiro, he would be the one to go bad, because he just can't take all the chaos. Everything that's going on is all this lore being thrown at you is like someone sitting you down and explaining Megaten and trying to explain Megaten to you in 5 minutes. All the demons, all the games, the Axiom, Stefan. It's a fucking headache, and I'd lose my mind over it too. So that's really all the information we have. I just wanted to say that, of course, I was wrong about some of the predictions, but also having more information leaves me with a lot more predictions, so maybe a part 2 of that video will be coming soon. This was just to say, first of all, Atlus made a cool ass new segment video with the green screen, and that girl was super sick. Her name escapes me, but I followed her on Twitter. She's really cool. She's really nice. I like the outfit she had on too. The whole time I'm like, if you really look at her dress or the outfit under her blazer, it kind of looks like flowers. It kind of matches the protagonist's outfit. It's just black and white. So she caught my attention for sure. Shout out to her for doing that video. Really good job. And I love the fucking editing. Definitely gotta copy that. Jesus. That's it, guys. I have to leave. I rushed this video. I'm sorry. I have no choice. I have to work. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. You let me know your thoughts. You let me know what you thought from the trailer. Also, shout out to that one guy who's now a girl. We got double trapped by these characters. We all thought that Nahobino, or the hero, was going to be a female, which would have been cool. Trust me, it would have been dope as hell. But then we found out he was male. So now we're kind of used to the whole feminine boy. So it was easy for when what's her name, Mayuri, I don't know, it was probably like Mayuzu or something like that. She pulled up to the scene. They didn't show her bust, they didn't show her they didn't let us hear her voice. They knew that we were going to think that she was a man, and we just did. And like, I criticized her and I laughed at her, and I'll still laugh at her today. Her outfit just is weird. But we found out she's a girl, and she actually looks a lot prettier in other scenes in the game. especially in her render. Oh my god, all the renders are so fucking gorgeous, and I need them on the thumbnail stat. That's all I have for today, guys. Once again, let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to like the video. Hey, no hassle. I'm not coercing you. It's a choice. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.